Hi there YouTube, this is Daniel back at Daniel's Comics with another haul video, and this one is focusing on Free Comic Book Day as the title suggests. And this weekend, this Saturday in fact, was Free Comic Book Day also here in Sweden, as in many other places around the world. I had a great day, met up with some friends and made some new ones as well. And that's one of the neat things I think is great about Free Comic Book Day. It brings people together, brings people out to the shops, and hopefully people will buy stuff as well. But yeah, let's just jump into the whole video and show you what free comics I picked up this Saturday. And the first one is Barrier, issue 1, the Free Comic Book Day edition. And the neat thing about these ones is that it's a very good follow-up to Private Eye by the same creators over at the same website they first released it, Panel Syndicate. If you picked it up and you found it good, maybe you could go there and buy it there. You can pay what you want to get to read the story, the full story. One of the things that I heard people have trouble with Barrier is that it's told in both English and Spanish. So, but yeah, that's basically one of the barriers, I guess, other than borders of countries and stuff like that. Then I picked up Relay by Aftershock Comics. It's written by Zach Thompson and I think drawn by Andy Clark. It's a sci-fi book. They sold me. The cover looks amazing and the first page looks awesome as well. I am trying to get more into Aftershock Comics, so this is a good way to do it with free comics. And then I picked up a free book that wasn't really a part of Free Comic Book Day per se, but a friend of the owners on my LCS that I go to gave them a limited run on a series called Lady Phantom, and it's limited and hand numbered, a run of 250, which is pretty small. And yeah, I have no idea what this is gonna be about, but yeah, free comics is also free comics. And then I picked up DC Nation number 0 as well. This is gonna be interesting to see these 3 short stories that basically sets up upcoming events for DC during the summer and fall. So this is gonna be really exciting with Justice League, Batman and Superman as well. Tom King, Scott Snyder and Brian Michael Bendis on writing duties. And then before we get into the rest of the haul, I also picked up a free comic book at House of Heroes here in Stockholm, and that is Bad Medicine. I want more small company books when I go to these free comic book day and pick up free books. So it's an Only Press book, Bad Medicine. It's an older free comic book day book, so yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what this is, if it's gonna be something that I like. And then Comics Heaven, if you get back to that shop, they had this huge sale on both back issues and trade paperbacks, certain trade paperbacks down in the back room, which is basically their warehouse area. So they slashed all the prices in half basically on the cover price, and I couldn't resist. So I decided to pick up Birds of Prey, End Run by Gail Simone. I also picked up X-Men Phoenix Rising by I think Roger Stern and John Byrne with Bob Layton on inks maybe. I decided to narrow into or get into the X-Men stuff, the older stuff, and then focus on the Phoenix storylines. And I think this might be a good way to do it. I have read nothing of X-Men basically. I've read Days of Future Past and some other miniseries that isn't really highly connected to the rest of the X-Men verse, but yeah. And then I picked up 4 other trade paperbacks, and that is of a series for Valiant, and that is Imperium 1 through 4, all half off. So I basically paid about $6 or $7 each, or the equivalent to it, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I hear great things about Imperium, and I think, if I remember correctly, that it follows after Harbingers, or volume 6 of Harbingers. Then we get into more of the single issues I picked up. All of these are half off, but some of them were marked up because of something called rarity or something like that. But everything was half off, so I decided to get some. And the first one is Immortal Men #1 by Jim Lee and Ryan Benjamin and James Tynion IV. Just a #1 to add to the collection of #1s, I guess. And then we have Wonder Woman one-shot #1, The Start of Rebirth by Greg Rucka and Liam Sharp, I think. Yeah. I want more Wonder Woman, so this is a good way to do it. And I think it's a somewhat of a collectible, I guess. To me, it's a collectible because I like the cover. And I kind of forgot that I had this in my hand when I turned in the comics to get ringed up. But yeah, Winnebago Graveyard #1, an Image miniseries. I heard great things. I think I have one of these in the blind box that I picked up last year. And yeah, #1, it's a good story I hear here. I'm gonna read the trade paperback later on, and yeah, it's always nice to have a #1. And then I picked up a 2000 AD comic book, a one-shot. This was marked up a bit, and I got half off for this one, and I think I paid equivalent to about $12 or $15 in the end. Probably way too much, but I love the cover, so I couldn't resist it. It's basically a cover buy, and it follows up the movie, follows the movie, which starred Carl Urban and Lena Headey. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with this, but it's in flawless condition, and maybe I'll get it encapsulated in the future. And then I picked up the Rebirth one-shot, one of those variants for it. It's Evan Reese, I think, on inks, or maybe on the pencils with inks by Joe Prado, maybe? Yeah, I think so. It kind of looks like it. It's a wraparound. I think all of them were wraparounds, so I'm definitely gonna get this encapsulated, but I think it's maybe 9.5 at the most. There are some small issues with some of the corners, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting, fun to have a collectible issue. To me, it's a collectible. Maybe not to you, but to me it is. And then I picked up X-Men 251, a very iconic cover. I love this cover. It's great coloring, great inks, great penciling, done by Mark Silvestri, and yeah, I just really like it. It's not in the best condition, but I remember thinking, wow, it would be awesome to find the Witchblade homage to this cover. And speaking of the Witchblade homage in basically inks and a virgin cover. So this is going to get encapsulated in the future. Maybe I'll wait a bit to see if I could get it signed by Mark Silvestri in the future, but yes, this is something that's gonna stay in the collection. I'm really happy about this. I think I paid about $10, $8 or $10 for this, or the equivalent to it, which is amazing to me. I love it. And then we are back at House of Heroes. I went there to see what they had. I'm not super into Silver Age comics, so I tend to focus on the Bronze Age they have there to see if I find any covers that I like or issues that might be a sort of a key issue. But I found these ones, Batman and Hellboy and Starman crossover with Dark Horse and DC by Mike Mignola from 1998. And Mike Mignola on artwork, both on cover and inside, is just awesome to have in single issue format. I probably will get these encapsulated. They aren't in the best of condition, but probably maybe 8 or something like that. I'm not a grader, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm just hoping basically. But these are awesome to have in the collection as a collectible item. And during the weekend we had here in Stockholm, we also had a international comics festival. It's focusing on indie artists and indie writers, and mostly local to Stockholm, but also they invite people from Poland, from Spain, from Germany, and countries all over Europe. Today's or this weekend's or this year's focus was manga, and they had a Swedish mangaka visiting from Tokyo. She is popular here in Sweden. I'm not super well versed within mangas, so I didn't really know who she was, but I went there and to just look at upcoming artists and stuff like that, which is where I found a local artist. Her artwork caught my eye basically. I really like this style of art, and I hope for the very best for her career in the future. I want to see her do manga or comics in the future, or just do great artwork like this. This is a mini print, and I picked up most of the prints she had on sale there at her Artist Alley table. And this is the best one to me, but I picked up many others as well because I really like her art style. This is another one. I really enjoy these. I'm gonna have them framed and put on the wall next to the collection. And here's another one, just amazing. I love the color scheme, and I like the solitary characters and the details on each character. And here's another one, just looking all powerful and stuff. It's just amazing to see how these local artists, you can always find a great artists everywhere basically. They're just difficult to find. But to me, this is artwork that I really like. But that's it basically. Thank you for spending time to watch my video on the free stuff and the things I bought this weekend. And I hope you had a great free comic book day as well. I sure had. And I hope to see you in another video in the future. Until then, have a great week of reading and see you around. Bye bye.